Hi there, welcome to today's painting tutorial. Today we are going to paint a slice of pumpkin pie with acrylic paints. So let's get started. I'm going to start with a size 0 round brush. Don't forget to grab the sketch linked in the description below. So I'm going to take some of this dark brown, put that around the edge of this top crust here and along this side. Then I'm going to take a burnt sienna. Start bringing that around. Gonna bring it up and in between these sections of the crust. And then I want to get lighter, so let's take some of this burnt sienna, mix it with this light yellow. See if we can get a tan color. Then I'm gonna start putting that in. And then we can take a little bit of this pastel yellow and put a little bit of a highlight. And let's come down in this section. So I'll take that dark brown, bring it down along this edge. And then I'm going to put some along the bottom edge. And then take some of this burnt sienna and feather that in. It's going to give a nice transition. And then while that's still wet, let's add some of the beige. And then I'll put some along this edge. And then while it's still wet, let's also add some of this light blue and see if we can use that to get just a little bit more depth here. Maybe bring a little bit over here. Okay, so let's switch brushes. I'm going to switch to a size 3 flat brush. And I want to think about my darks and my lights. So let's put in a dark value for the shadow, and we can use that with the dark brown. So I'm going to take this dark brown color and put a little shadow under where this cream area is. And then I'm going to take the burnt sienna, start creating a transition with this burnt sienna. Allow those colors to blend together as well. So then I'm going to take this orange and start building that in. Mix it with the brown. Bring it around this edge. And now I want to get lighter, so I'm going to take some of this yellow ochre, mix it with some of this orange color. Let's start putting that in. It's still a little bit of a dark, has some dark tones in there. Let's bring it around this edge. Try to create a sharp point there by using the edge of that brush. And then along this section, I want it to be pretty dark. So I'm going to add this burnt sienna. I could even put a little bit of the burnt umber in there to create a nice division. Okay, so now I'm going to get lighter. So let's pick up some white and mix it into that orange and the yellow ochre. And see if we can bring that in. I'm going to pick up a little bit of straight yellow ochre. Want it to be really light in this section here. Might pick up some white. Create a nice highlight there. Okay, so now let's paint this section here. So I'm going to take some of the burnt sienna and start bringing that down here. I want it to contrast with that up there, so I want it to be darker. I'm thinking about my brush strokes. I want some painterly strokes. Bring some down along this edge, along the bottom, trying to get some contrast. And then along this edge as well, we can add a darker value, maybe a little bit of the really dark brown. Okay, I'm going to rinse the brush and I'm going to continue with this burnt sienna. Keep thinking about my brush strokes. And then I'm going to pick up this nice orange color. Moving those brush strokes to get a nice painterly look. Okay, and then I might take some of that yellow ochre, put a little bit of that in there. Okay, so now let's work on the cream area. To do that, I'm going to use a 0 brush. I'm going to take the 0 round brush. I'm going to take some of this burnt sienna. And on the right side, I'm going to follow along with this sketch. Put some of these lines in there just to create some shadow. And then on the left side, I'm going to use some of this blue color. And then let's pick up some white. While that paint is still wet, let's see if I can add another layer and allow that color to blend together. Just trying to put in different sections for that cream. And try not to cover up that shadow with the white. And try to blend it as well. Okay, I'm gonna blend this a little more. Let it mix together. And that's going to create some shadows and give it a three-dimensional look. Okay, and while that is, as that is pretty well blended together, let's go back and put in some highlights. So let's take this light yellow. This is a pastel yellow. Let's just bring a few little highlights, skip them along here. And then I'm going to make a beige highlight, add some white to that beige that we mixed up. Maybe go back and add a little bit of that to the crust. Maybe do a little bit of stippling. Try to add some texture there. Bring some along the bottom. Okay, and then I'm going to come back and see if we can put a straight white highlight in the middle of some of these areas where the cream is. And I might go back and clean up some of these edges as well. Okay, and that is how you can paint a slice of pumpkin pie with acrylic paints. I hope you give this a try. And if you want to dive deeper into acrylic painting, check out my free guide in the description below. And if you are serious about learning how to paint with acrylics, you can also check out my full program that is linked below as well. And we will see you in the next video. Bye.